Excellent. Thank you very much. Just got here a little bit early just to sort out a few things before we start. First of all, I'd just love to thank Kate for inviting me to this event. She's done a fantastic job of organising this. So I think everyone should give her a round of applause because she's done a really good job and she's helped me out with this as well. So that's basically it. And just while we're waiting for a few more people to come along, I'll just explain a few of the rules. Sorry, I'm getting things. First of all, if you've seen my live streams before, you know that there's certain words I cannot say, or otherwise we'll get banned. Like that one. You've probably all seen this before. But just while we're waiting, just thought, things like that, because I may be discussing these at some point during the evening. So if you see me hold this up, that's why you know, okay? And the other thing is, I've made some notes because I really don't want to miss out, on certain things. Often I just talk off the top of my head and then later I go, oh, damn it, I meant to say that. So this time I've made notes because it's pretty critical. So if you see me just looking off to the side, no, it's not the Facebook police coming to get me again. It's just me looking at my notes, okay? Anyway, with that, how are we going for time? I think we'll just get started. So look, basically the topic tonight is 3 ways you know that you are ascending, that you're on the path, you're in the shift. But basically, everyone here, I'm sure, can agree that since really 2012, that's when the doorway opened. Wasn't the end of the world, as the idiots in Hollywood try to tell us. It was the beginning of the new world. That's what it was all about. So since 2012, we've seen massive changes and they're happening exponentially. So every year that we're going now, it's bigger and bigger and bigger changes are happening, right? Which again is a sign that we're in the shift. We're definitely going forward. One of the first things that we noticed was time was speeding up. And I think everyone can agree with that now. Time, to me, almost has no concept whatsoever. One day drifts into another, it's just speeding up. It's as simple as that. For those of us that are in the shift, I think, we're feeling that. And, I'm not bragging, but I spoke about this back in probably 2017. I did a presentation then where I said, everything that I'm going to discuss tonight, I talked about then as this is what we can expect. Well, now we're here and it's actually happening, right? Exactly as I said. So as I said, tonight I'm going to discuss 3 ways that you know that you're in the ascension path and it's happening. So the first one is separation. And what I mean by separation, it can be on many different levels, but the main separation is, no doubt, for most of you, you would have lost friends, family members, old acquaintances, things like that, people you've known for years. Suddenly you've drifted apart or you've had a difference of opinion that they've just lost their minds and they've drifted away from you, right? That's because we are now drifting further and further apart into 2 different realities or 2 different paradigms. And I'll explain that later when I show the Schumann's resonance, right? It explains a lot when you see the charts. So that's the first one, is separation. But it's also people that have been in long-term religions, long-term careers, business life, that sort of thing. They're walking away from jobs, they're walking away from religions, and they're seeking, they're searching. They're not sure why, but that's what they're doing. So that separation is part of the Ascension program. The other part of the separation that I feel on a personal level, and maybe a lot of you do as well, is I can go to, the local supermarket and I almost feel like I'm there as an observer, like I'm a tourist or something, I don't feel like I'm connected to the other people running around with face masks on and things like that. I just don't feel a connection with them anymore. But that's not to say I've disconnected from humanity, because there's other people that I get into, and I meet and I just feel at one with them. I just feel complete kinship with them. So again, that's part of that separation that I'm talking about, and that's a sure sign you're not going crazy and you're not becoming cold or distant. You're literally merging into a new reality. So that's the first part. So the first one is separation. The second one is a little bit funnier, I guess. It's body changes. So we start with the body changes you'll experience as a symptom, if you like, of ascension. First one is sleep patterns. Your sleep patterns will be all over the shop. You know, you might find yourself waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, wide awake, and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you might be flat on your back, can't keep your eyes open, right? Circadian rhythms, they're just all over the shop. That's part of this ascension process. You know, things like aches and pains, again, can be common in some people. But one of the weird things that's been coming out lately that I'm hearing a lot about is people are complaining, I guess, of having distended bellies, like a bloated belly. And these are people that are fit, healthy, you know, a lot of them are vegans, vegetarians, some are omnivores, but they're saying that they're getting this sort of bloated belly, this bigger belly. And I think that's probably got to do with a lot of this. And the reason why I say that, the reason why your body is going through these changes and things, is because your body is trying to change into a crystalline body, right? A light body, but it's still stuck in the third dimension, so to speak. So the body's still in the third dimension. The other half is trying to change into a light body, and there's a conflict there. I think that's what's going on. It's a conflict, but it will sort itself out. Trust me, the further we move along, the further those body changes will just relax and everything will be cool. And you'll be feeling like a 20-year-old in a few months, I think. And then finally, the last sign that you are in the ascension path, you're on the path, is you don't buy into fear. You don't live in the fear. So as I was saying before, right, there's this thing going around at the moment. Sorry. And a lot of people have bought into the fear of it. They're wearing things on their face. You know, they're doing this all day because they buy into that fear. And if you're one of the people that can look at it and go, hang on, there's something not right here, or I'm not afraid of it, I'm not going to get it, it's no big deal. You're in the shift, right? Because you're not buying into that fear. That fear is a three-dimensional 3D based fear. That's where it comes from, right? So, as you're probably aware, there's a group of nefarious people out there doing these sort of hoaxes, or whatever you want to call them, to deliberately try to keep people down, keep them entrapped in that fear. So if you're one of these people that just naturally just goes, well, I don't buy into that, I'm not believing that, I'm not going to submit to it, then that's because you're on a different level. You're on a higher level of understanding. So you're seeing the whole picture, not just that narrow little, slice of 3D reality. So that's basically it with the three ways that you're ascending. But what about the people that are not doing any of those things or experiencing those things? Basically, I don't want to single out any one group or anything, but I will say a lot of the New Age people, I talk to them, right? And they'll say to me, oh, I don't give that thought. I won't attach anything to it. I won't give it energy. Okay, I sort of get that on a level. I understand what they're saying, but at the same time, it's really a form of denial. And where does denial come from? It comes from fear, right? That's where it comes from. So denial is fear. Fear is the opposite of ascension, right? You can't ascend with fear. You just can't. So that's that group. The other group that's out there is they're outsourcing their faith, I guess you'd call it, to another group. And they're the group that keep telling you that trust the plan, trust the plan. I think you know who I'm talking about. The problem with trust the plan is A, we don't know what their plan is, and B, it gets people to sit back and do nothing, right? Apathy. It creates apathy because everyone's waiting for the plan to happen. They're waiting for something to come along and save them. No one is coming to save you. No aliens. Jesus is not coming back. Muhammad or the Mahdi or Buddha or, letters of the alphabet. They're not coming to save you, right? We have to do this ourselves. It's an individual journey, but we can unite with each other and join up with each other to create powerful, powerful waves of positive energy. And this is what I'm trying to say. Then you get the fence sitters. They're the ones that, neither in or out. They're sort of just waiting on the sidelines, seeing, who's going to win, basically. And what I say to the fence sitters is if you sit on the fence, you're going to get splinters in your bum. You just will, right? Spirit asks for commitment. They don't care. There is no right and wrong in spirit. There is no right and wrong. That only exists on the earth plane. To them, there's only choice. You've got free will, so use it. Free will. Make a choice and commit to it. That's all they ask, right? It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong or whatever. Make a choice and commit to it, right? That's what they're asking for. Basically, what I guess people need to understand is a few thousand years ago, there was this place called Atlantis, right? And during the time of Atlantis, they had a high civilization with technology. It was different technology to what we have today, but it was technology nonetheless. And there was a fight between, the dark and the light forces, just like there is now. And they were using technology. And unfortunately, at that particular time, the dark side won, right? With their technology, they won. And we are now faced with a very similar scenario. We've all come back to basically fight it out again, and this time we got to win. We just have to win. So last time they were using crystal technology and things. Today we use silicon-based technology. It doesn't really matter. It's all the same thing. And like any technology can be good or bad. It doesn't matter. I'm using technology right now to communicate with you in a good way, I hope. But then I can use technology to create a missile to go and blow up a village in Afghanistan, right? So it can be used either way. So what's happening now is the dark side are going all in using a new technology that I can't mention or probably get banned. And they're using that in nefarious ways. They're selling it as a good thing, like, make your phone go quicker or something, but it's not. It's a reptilian technology. And whether you believe in them or not, they're real. And this is part of their technology. It was originally designed and created in the 80s, early 80s, 83 to 84, as a weapon, death ray weapon, and it didn't work. So they shelved it and now they've brought it out again. And as I've said in other live streams, if you mix this with this, you drop dead, right? So it's literally an extinction level event. So because of that, there's a group of alien beings, I guess they're our cousins, and they vowed to help us a long time ago, called the Palladians. And in November last year, 30,000 Palladian light ships came out of a portal that's in the sun. And before you go, that's crazy talk, I got pictures that I showed in a previous presentation I've done. I did a video of that, which you can see on my YouTube channel. And I show the pictures from the Soho telescope showing the 30,000 light ships coming out of the sun, right? There's a wormhole there, a portal. That's how they travel in between star systems. And so they were coming to Earth on an urgent mission. And what was that mission? It wasn't to save humanity. It was to basically save the planet, right? They were here to save the other 1 million+ species on this planet from this technology, right? From that technology, because that is an extinction level event. It really is. I can't overstate that enough. So they came here to basically stop it, or to help stop it. And part of that process was around the Earth at that stage, the Draconians, the lizard people, had created a negative grid, like a grid around the whole globe. And it was based on negative vibration. So it kept everything locked into a prison planet, essentially, where that's why since Atlantis went, for the last few thousand years, we've had nothing but wars, pestilence, poverty, sickness, right? All that stuff. It was all created from this negative grid. It's not the way the Earth was meant to be. It's not how we were meant to live. So that was an artificial grid that was built by these draconians. And the reason is they keep us in fear because they feed off of it. They literally eat that energy. They love it, right? Keeps them sustained. Anyway, so the Pleiadians are coming in and they started to dismantle that grid and put their own grid in. And the grid that they're putting in now is a positive one. And the idea is to lift consciousness. As I said, I spoke about this a few months ago, well before this thing came along, right? And what I said then was that once that grid goes up, consciousness will change. It'll explode, exactly what I said, right? And it has. Because how many people now has that thing woken up? How many people now go, I'm not buying into that. There's something not right there. They're now opened up to the fact that a lot of the politicians, charities, things like that, World Health Organization, all those sort of things are corrupt. They now know that there's pedophile cults running the world, and there really is, right? They're starting to open up to all this stuff, and I'm shocked, really. Even though I knew it was coming, it still shocks me because I can remember, trying to tell people 9/11 was an inside job, and they didn't want to know about it. But now they're coming to me saying, hey, that disease thing, I think there's something not right there. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. It's not. Right? So how did that happen? Well, because they're putting this new grid up. That's how it happened. So consciousness is exploding. And so that's why in the next 6 months, it's still going to be a lot of upheaval. There's still going to be a lot of chaos and stuff, but there's going to be revolutions happening. And I don't mean violent revolutions. I mean cultural and psychological revolutions where people are going to wake up and they're going to demand freedom, right? The banks will fall. The major religions will fall. They just will because they're not needed anymore. Anyway, but moving along, I made a little video, and this is why I'm set up here at the moment, to show you the Schumann's resonance, the charts. Now, unfortunately, just due to the technology or whatever, the resolution's not going to be real good, but I'm hoping if we ask Kate really nicely, she'll let me upload these pictures to the High Vibe Life group site, and you'll be able to see them in high res as they were meant to be seen. But for now, I'm just going to put them on the telly and I'll talk you through them. So it doesn't really matter that much that you can't see the resolution. What is important is I want to show you how to read them, how to understand them. That's what's really important. So I'll just move you over here. Okay, so this is actually a chart that, an image I created a while back for people to understand. So this is what a Schumann's chart looks like. So basically, here's the base frequency, which is normally 7.83 hertz. It's been that for like thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and then suddenly it started changing, going up. So it's around 8 hertz is there, right? So that's the base frequency, and it's one solid line that goes across, as you can see. But what we've had happening now is these new lines appearing. And what we're waiting for is for there to be 7 lines. 7, because there's 7 levels of ascension, right? And each person will go through each of these 7, and when they get to the 7th level, boom, they ascend. They're gone, right? But so these are now starting to solidify. So they're the new frequencies. And I don't know if you can see or not, but these ones are dotted. Like they're not solid lines yet. They're still dotted because they're still forming, right? And these ones here, the big white blobs and things like that going down the page, they're energy. When they open up a doorway, you hear about, they're opening the 7th ray and stuff like that. This one here is when Pluto was, with Jupiter, and then they opened up the gateway at Uluru. That coincided exactly on that date there. And look at that massive explosion of energy that came through. And within these little explosions of energy, you see these little dots, brown, red dots in there. They're like data downloads. They're being pumped into people's brains, I guess, their psyche, while they sleep normally. And that's why the sleep patterns are all screwed up, right? Because when you're trying to sleep, you're getting these massive downloads. So it's like you're not even sleeping, and then you're tired during the day because you didn't really get to sleep at night, right? That's what that's all about. So after this massive explosion of energy here, when they opened up the gateway, we come down 20 days later. Look at this. The lines are starting to solidify. Up here, they were little dots. Now, they're solid lines. Do you see? So that is proof that these things are working. So when we do a million people meditation, they are having a real world effect on us, right? So just remember that the white vertical lines are data downloads. They're changing human consciousness, and they interact with your brain frequencies. So you're probably aware that you've got different brain frequencies, right? Alpha, beta, theta, delta. So when you meditate, you're in delta and theta waves. So some of these are going into those brain waves. These ones are going into the alpha and beta. So here's just February. I'll just put this in just to give you an idea. In February, there was absolutely not much happening at all. Your base frequency there. And then we come to May, and May, look, we're starting to get these dots again. February had none of this, just big empty holes. And now we've got these dots starting to appear. Big downloads, right? So that's May 3rd, 4th and 5th. Next one is going to be now, basically, the last 3 days. Just wait for it to come through. But I'm hoping you can see what's going on here. So here's 16th, 17th, 18th of May. And again, look at that. What before on the previous one was dotted lines. Now we've got solid lines happening, right? We've still got the downloads coming. They're going to continually keep coming because they've got to update these people, get them to move down, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 almost. So that's back to February just to show you again how different it is. February, there's nothing, right? Hardly anything in the middle there. And then we get to April where I was showing you before, and that's when they start to appear. Then we do the opening of the gate at Uluru, and boom, thanks for coming. Look at that. They're all appearing. And now we're in May, they're even more solid, and we can see these ones in between now coming through. Look at that, that line's solid now. This one's just about solid, this one's still getting there. So that's the last one, right, up around 32 hertz. So that's basically proof, beyond doubt as far as I'm concerned, that the Ascension is real and that it's happening right now. But as I said, if you're living in fear or denial, you're going to be stuck in those lower ones, right? But if you embrace the love frequency, you do meditations once a day, just 20 minutes, that's all you have to do, 20-minute meditation, chakra balance, chakra cleansing, things like that. That's all you need to do. Eat well, think right, don't hate on people, don't get upset with people. Also, the people that are separated from you, I meant to say it before, don't even try and get them back. Don't even try and talk them around. They're just not going to get it, as you've seen, because they're in a different frequency to you now. Okay, I'll put you back on me. I know you'd probably rather look at the pictures, but you're stuck with me. So do you get what I mean? So don't even try and change them or talk them out of it, because it's a waste of time. It really is. They're in a different reality. So it's like you're talking Chinese to them. They're not going to get it. They're not going to understand it. Right. Just one thing too, I'd say to the people that don't want to accept that there's stuff going on in the world that's yucky. I know it's yucky. I've got to deal with it every day. About these pedophile cults and all the corruption and stuff like that. But what I would say to people that don't want to talk about it or think about it, imagine you just bought an old Federation house, but it was abandoned for like the last 10 years and squatters were using it and wild animals were using it and everything like that. And you went into the toilet, you need the toilet, right? Because you're going to move in there, so you need the toilet to be operating. You go in there and it's filthy, dirty, disgusting, right? What do? Do you say, well, we'll just go out into the woods and do our business? Or do I suck it up and go and clean the toilet? That's what you do. So you put your nuclear grade gloves and mask and goggles on, get your toilet brush and your Kleenex or whatever you use, Domestos, and you go into that toilet and you scrub it and clean it and just do it. You just do it. And then at the end of it, you stand back, your hands on your hips, and you go, oh, look at that. It's shining like brand new again. I feel so satisfied. I feel so proud of myself. I feel really good. And now I can use that toilet again. Now it's okay, and I can't wait for my friends to come over and see what a great job I did. That's exactly what we're doing now. That's what you're being asked to do now. It's not sit on the fence, and it's not to, to pretend it's not happening or wait for someone else to come and save you. It's to get in there, get your gloves on, get your mask and goggles on and your toilet brush and your domestos, and get in there and scrub, 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 right? You don't have to take it on. Don't take it on, right? I can look at a situation like that and I can feel compassion, I can feel horrified, I can feel disgusted, but I don't lose sleep over it. I don't take it on, right? I look at it using what I call the wise mind. And the wise mind is the one that can look at things like a scientist would look at a petri dish. That's how you have to look at life, right? Look at it like you're looking at a little petri dish with little amoebas running around it and things like that. So try and adopt that sort of lifestyle. Now, on that note, I just want to say that we are winning at the moment. We are really winning. No matter what the mainstream media, don't listen to the mainstream media, right? They're liars and they're there to put fear into you. That's all they're there for. They're propaganda and to put fear in you. What's really happening right now is that we've had, in the last few months, over 75,000 children and young adults have been saved, right? Saved, rescued, 75,000, right? Just in the last couple of months. And in that same period, over 100,000, about 103,000 actual traffickers, pedophile cult people, whatever you want to call them, have either been killed or captured, right? I don't know if you saw, I'm sort of getting sidetracked a bit now, there was Hart Island, I think, and the mainstream media were trying to say, oh, it's that virus thing, it's killing all the people and everything. No, it wasn't. It was the MS-13 people that were killed in the battles that were going on in the tunnels, right? That's who they were burying there. That's what that was all about. So we are having massive wins at the moment, and there is mass arrests going on at the moment. A lot of the higher up people are now fashioning ankle bracelets, okay? They pull their socks over it or put their pants down, but you can still see it. So a lot of names that are household names are now wearing ankle bracelets. So that's all happening. And it's just going to keep happening, guys. As I said, those, Schumann's resonance, the higher they go, the more of this stuff's going to come out into the open. It has to, because we have to clean the toilet before we can move into the house, okay? So that's why it's all happening. And of course, the last thing is this looming financial collapse that everyone's worried about. And it probably will. It probably will collapse. But for someone like me that's well aware that for the last 300 years, this Rothschild banking system has literally enslaved us into a debt slavery system, I personally can't wait for it to collapse. But I get that, some people, it's going to hurt a lot of people, but not everyone. I think the more you hold on to material possession and things like that, it's going to hurt more. If you're not really big on material stuff, I don't think it's going to harm you hardly at all. You probably won't even notice it. You might find that, it might be a bit hard to get certain items or, do stuff. But basically, we will come into a new financial system, not based on slavery. It'll be a more equitable system. So, but there'll be a transitional period where there's that crossover, right? Where it could be a little bit tricky for some people. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not going to tell you what to do. But if I had stocks, for example, I'd probably get rid of them. But hey, don't listen to me. I'd buy things like gold and silver, but don't listen to me. I'm not a financial advisor, right? That's all I'll say on that. But, that's another thing. And it's, if you notice too, everything the dark side's doing is blowing up in their face. So every time they try and do one of these false flags or, collapse the economy or create a this or that, it's blowing up in their face. Why? Because of the Schumann's resonance, because people are waking up. See? It's all connected. It's all connected, right? So this time, as I said, in Atlantis, we got our bums kicked. They won, but not this time, guys. This time, we've got an army. We've got a global army that's now ready to don their armor and go into battle. That's really what's going on right now. And, you have to decide now for yourself what team you're going to go with, who you're going to be with. But if you've been listening to this and this sort of message resonates with you, you're already in the first wave of ascenders, because the Ascension will go through waves, because remember those different frequencies? Each person has to go through each frequency, so not everyone's going to go at the same time. So there's going to be waves. So those of us that are in that 7th level are going to be the first wave. So generally, if you're understanding this message and it's resonating with you, I can pretty well guarantee you're in the first wave, right? You're the shock troops, okay? So I would say welcome to the club. Thank you for listening. Anyways, that's probably about it. All I would say to finish up is follow the Schumann's resonance, meditate daily, and don't buy into the fear. And if you can do that, you're assured to join me and others in the first wave of Ascension. Okay, that's it. I've got no idea how long I just went for. I probably rushed it because I haven't got a timer on here. But I can't really see any questions and things like that. But I'll just use this time to do a little self-advertising, okay? If you want to follow my stuff, my YouTube is Path to Ascension. I'm on Facebook. You can join me on there. I do live streams on Facebook semi-regularly, really only when there's a burning topic that I want to talk about. And there's my website as well, if you want to go there. And the other thing is I do have some books available on Amazon if you're lucky to find them, because Amazon doesn't like selling my books anymore because there's too much truth in them. So this one covers the whole history of humanity, where we came from, how we were created, solar system, a lot of what's God, where does God come from, all that's in this book. Truth Chronicles 1. Truth Chronicles 2, this one got me in big trouble. It's a big fat book. It exposes all the bankers and their lies and corruption and stuff like that. That's really hard to get now, apparently. People say they go to Amazon and they can't order it. It says not available, but it is available, but they don't want to make it available. And finally, this one is the Ascension step-by-step guide. So if you don't want to wait around for that first wave, you want to go now, this book tells you how to do it. It'll still take you about 6 to 8 weeks of discipline work, but you can do it. People have done it. They've done videos. I've got them on my YouTube channel. You can see, right? So again, it's on Amazon. So that's basically it, guys. I think that was probably pretty quick. I don't know. I hope it was long enough for everyone to understand. And basically, if you've got any questions and things like that, I'll come back later and answer the questions. I can sort of see some. Anyway, that's it. Peace. See you all later. Bye.